How's it going, everybody? Super quick announcement for you. This Friday, 6 to 7:30, you will come to the church and you can get a free t-shirt. It's been a tough year. I had these awesome t-shirts made to show you that we are a family, that we care about you, and it's going to be a great time. So come to the church 6 to 7:30. We'll be out there. We'll be inside, but you can come to the door if you don't want to go inside, whatever, COVID safe. And it's going to be a great time to see you guys. This is the third and last talk in our series on New Season's greetings. The first New Season's greeting we got was have a Merry Christmas, not a Martha Christmas. Remember, that was a good one. And then our second one was do not be afraid. Remember the Bible, the Christmas story started off with don't be afraid, because God has an amazing plan. And today we're jumping into week 3 of New Season's greetings, and it's going to be a blast. Let me start us off with story. So who likes Christmas presents? Boom. Christmas is not about presents, but it's still a pretty fun part, and it's cool to give them too. But I remember, I think it was last year, I got an Xbox. And you may be saying, Josh, that was like super late. People got Xboxes years and years ago. Okay, I'm late to trends sometimes. But I got an Xbox and I was so excited, and I actually got it from Ashley's grandma. So that was like, a lot of times you expect your grandma to get you like socks. So like my wife's grandma bought me an Xbox. I was like, I was shook. I was like, what is going on? This is so cool. So I texted my friend Luke, and I was like, Luke, I finally got an Xbox, because he's been telling me for like 6 years, get an Xbox so we can play 2K together. So I'm like, we can play 2K together. I finally have an Xbox, and I was so excited to share that with him. And I was like telling people, I got an Xbox, texting, Snapchatting all these people. I finally got an Xbox. And when you are given something great, you want to tell people about it. When something makes you excited, when you have something new, you want to tell people about it. And it just makes sense that when we get a really cool Christmas gift that we love, that we're gonna tell people about it. So I got my Xbox and I was so excited. But if you think about a little kid that like gets their dancing Elmo or something, they're telling everybody. They're going out on the sidewalk and they're saying, I got my Elmo, and they're telling people at school. They are so excited. But I think with us, when we get older, when we're teenagers, when we're adults, a lot of times we're very selective on who we tell, right? Like I texted my friend Luke because I knew he had an Xbox. I wasn't walking around like, I got an Xbox, I got an Xbox, I got an Xbox. I wasn't doing that. But then like, why not? Why, if I'm so excited about something, why don't I tell everybody about it? Why do I make it so selective? What am I afraid of? So somewhere somehow we forget that the story of Christmas, it didn't stop when the shepherds got to the manger or when the wise men got to see Jesus. They were excited to come and see what God had done, but after they saw Jesus, it tells us so much of what they did. After they had experienced God's gift to humanity, they were so excited that they went around and they told everybody who hadn't seen Jesus yet or who hadn't experienced God yet. They told everyone. And for the next few minutes, we're just going to look at some of these Bible passages from the story of Christmas, of the wise men and of the shepherds, and what they did after they had gone and seen Jesus. Because often we just focus on, oh, the shepherds came or the wise men came. But what did they do after? It tells us so much of how powerful and awesome Jesus is and what we should do as Jesus followers. So the first response to Christmas, we're going to put it right here, is and should be, boom, come and see. And that was the response that the shepherds had the minute that the angels had left them. So let's read this. We're going to read from Luke 2:15 through 16. I'll put this on the screen. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about. So they hurried off and they found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. So that was actually the same response that the wise men had when they came and saw him. Matthew 2 says, we saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. When they heard what God had done, that he had sent his son, when they had seen that and experienced that for themselves, they were so excited. And God had given them exactly what they needed, even though they didn't know it. right? And on top of that, God had made it clear to them, of all people, right, of this just lowly shepherds and all of them, and God made it clear, and they were so excited to see what God had done for them. So they dropped everything to come and see. They saw the star and they said, we need to go to that. We see that and we need to go and worship him. And God's call to them to come and see is the same call that he has for each of us. Come and see what I have done for you and what I can do for you. See, this is all over the Bible. Like in the Psalms, King David encouraged us to taste and see that the Lord is good. Come to God. Come to him. And then Jesus himself encouraged people to see for themselves what a relationship with him was like. And this is what he said. He said, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. That's from the book of Matthew. You see, Jesus knew that once people experienced the love and the forgiveness that is only available through a relationship with him, that they would be forever changed for the better. He also knew that once they had been changed by his love and by his grace, once they had experienced that power for themselves, they wouldn't be able to keep it to themselves. Just like me getting my Xbox and be like, dude, I got an Xbox, this is crazy. That's what Jesus thought and said that we should do when we discover how incredible Jesus is. That gift of having a relationship with God is so powerful that I want to tell everybody, hey, Jesus is awesome. Jesus is cool. Tell everybody at your school. I feel like I just invented a rap song right there. That was super good. So that's the first response. Come and see. The second response to Christmas should be this. Go and tell. Come and see, and then go and tell. So telling others is just a natural response when something happens to you. Right? These wise men were so excited to tell everyone what they had seen and what God had done, that God had to actually intervene in the story and tell them, hey, you gotta wait till you get over here before you're telling all these people because the king's trying to kill the babies and all of that. They were so excited. But immediately after they had seen Jesus, the shepherds, they started telling everyone and anyone they came in contact with all that God was doing through Jesus. Let's read this in Luke 2. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what they had told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things, and she pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had seen and heard, which were just as they had been told. So the shepherds were so excited. They were going around telling this story to everybody. I think about, do you guys know when you have a really good story and your friend like, oh bro, I don't like this. But me and my friend had a crazy experience, right? Or something like that. And we're telling the story and I'm trying to tell the story and then my friend jumps in and is like, oh, and then this happened. And I'm like, bro, I was about to say that. Like, don't ruin the story. You guys know anybody that does that? Oh my gosh, maybe you do that. Don't do that, okay? But that's probably these shepherds were so excited that they're interrupting each other. They were so hyped about what they had seen and what God was doing that they just had to tell everybody. Right? And I can't even imagine where they started. If they started in their hometown, if they started over here, but they told everybody. They're probably telling their sheep, right? Their shepherds, they're probably like, bro, Steve the sheep, you don't even know. Like, this is crazy what God has done for us. And Luke 8 actually gives an account of Jesus healing a man who had been possessed by demons. And after Jesus had liberated and healed this man, he asked him what he should do. And this is what Jesus said. Jesus said, return home and tell how much God has done for you. Nearly 1,000 years before the birth of Christ, the psalmist urged the people of God to tell others what he had done for them. And he writes this in Psalm 107. He says, let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. If you are excited about what God did for you, tell everybody. Because once God has shown up, once God has made a significant difference in your life, you tell people about that. And that's the problem. We don't tell people about what God has done. We tell people about the new outfit I got or the new fish I caught. Post that on Instagram. But we don't tell them about the most important thing in our life, our relationship with Him, with God. And if you really think about it, the responses of come and see and go and tell, they're really just talking about the gospel, right? Both Matthew and Luke begin by God inviting people to come to Bethlehem and see what He has done. And the gospels end with Jesus commanding His followers to go. The Bible tells us what Jesus has done. We come and we see that. Then Jesus says, disciple, spread the gospel to all nations. So there's like a third response that I feel like people have sometimes. So I think I've told this story actually when we were talking about like thankfulness. It's kind of funny. But my brother he was saving up for a new phone. And he was super excited. He was going to get like the newest Galaxy or whatever. Because he had this one phone, a Moto G, which he did not like. And he was like, this phone stinks. I need a new one. And he was going to upgrade to that Galaxy, right? And then he went on Christmas Day, and he'd been saving, and he didn't ask for any of that. And then he opened his present, and my mom had bought him a new Moto G, right? And that's the phone he didn't want. But she had given that. She saved money, and she gave that to him. She's like, I know you needed a new phone, so we wanted to surprise you and get you something extra this year. And he was like, bro. And he literally, he was like, I didn't want this. I was gonna buy the better one. And it was crazy. And my mom cried, and it was a big deal. But that's okay. That's okay. They're great. Everything worked out in the end. But some people receive a gift, and they just don't care. They're not grateful, right? And the come and see and go and tell are the typical responses to Christmas. But there's one response we occasionally get, and we occasionally see. Like, have you ever given somebody a gift and gotten silence as a response? That's not a good feeling, right? And yet, here's a big tie-up, right? It's a response that many of us give for the gift of Christmas. We don't get excited to experience the joy and the presence of Jesus. We aren't in a rush to share it with our friends and with our family. We just go silent, right? We just get the gift and we're okay, whatever. I don't really care, right? We sit there and we do nothing. So what is your response to Christmas gonna be? We come and we see Jesus and we experience Him. But are you gonna be silent about it, or are you going to go and tell? Will you come and see, and will you go and tell? So tonight I want to invite you and just challenge you to simply respond to Christmas. If you've never experienced the love and the forgiveness that Jesus brings, that He was born into this world to give you, would you come and see that for yourself? Would you come to youth group and be in a relationship with our leaders? And would you learn about Jesus and hopefully pray to accept Him? There's no greater Christmas present that you could ever receive than a personal relationship with Jesus and the redemption that comes with that. And if you have experienced a relationship with God, if you would call yourself a Christian, would you, like the shepherds that heard about Him, would you go and tell others what God has done for us, for you? So many of us Christians say we're Christians, but we're not excited. We don't tell people that we've been saved, that we've been redeemed, and that other people should go and worship the King. So that's our talk for today, right? Come and see, and then go and tell. It's been great to see you guys. Great to go through this series on Season's Greetings. I just hope you guys have happy holidays. And I'm hoping that we can get back together in person very soon and see each one of you. Thank you.